basically says the poor economy, this difference between this n plus delta line and SFK divided by K line, this dotted line above n plus delta is basically determining the growth rate of per capita capital stock in the short run. That means when the economy is out of the steady state. Over here, they have assumed poor economy is also out of the steady state. Their K0 poor is not equals to KSS or K star over here. K0 reach is also out of the steady state. They're actually in the transition of steady state. They're moving towards steady state. When moving towards steady state, this graph shows this particular part of the dotted line, which is above n plus delta, that is between n plus delta line and SFK over K line. This part is basically determining this is actually representing the growth rate of per capita capital stock. So if you compare the growth rate of per capita capital stock of poor and rich, it clearly shows that the poor economy is growing at a higher rate compared to the rich economy. This is exactly we have got before, right? When the population growth is higher, your steady state per capita capital stock is lower, even in, but your output growth is higher in the long run. So that means the same thing we are actually seeing over here. Even during the transition, the rate of growth of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the rich country. Fine. So this is the thing. So we have started over here. I am giving a graphical representation of this equation number 7 or equation number 8, anything. And obviously, SFK over K, which is S kt to the power alpha minus 1 in our production function. When you differentiate this S kt to the power alpha minus 1 with respect to KTA, and since alpha is a fraction, it's a negatively sloped line. So as a result, SFK over K is a negatively sloped line. N plus delta is constant. Intersection point giving me the steady state. And they're analyzing a poor country which has a very low amount of capital per capita capital stock to start with. Rich country, it has a high initial per capita capital stock to start with. They are both out of the steady state. They're actually reaching towards steady state. During that, my graph shows the rate of growth of the per capita capital stock of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the per capita capital stock of the rich country. And this difference, this straight line, this dotted line, above n plus delta and below SK over K, this line, this difference is basically the small k dot over K of the per capita capital stock growth rate graphically. Okay. So this is another way of representing the fundamental equation graphically. So this is one way we have seen in the last class. This is one representation. This representation shows that what is the steady state level of capital stock, what is the steady state level of output, what is the steady state level of per capita consumption, etc. But this particular figure does not give you the graphical representation of the growth rate. If you want to analyze the growth rate in the short run graphically, better to represent my fundamental equation in this fashion. In this case, the left hand side is going to give you the rate of growth of the per capita capital stock, and this is graphical representation of that. What it basically shows that the poor country with a lower level of initial capital stock, in fact, has a higher growth rate in the short run. Remember, this difference graphically, it is above n plus delta and below SFK over K. This particular difference is representing the per capita capital stock growth rate in the short run. Long run per capita capital stock growth rate is 0 because the difference between SFK over K and n plus delta is 0 when the economy reaches the steady state. But when the economy is in short run, economy is reaching steady state in the transition. As I said, this particular equation and graph says that poor country is growing at a higher rate than the rich country. Any question, any clarification? So be very careful what you are actually answering, or what you are actually when you are writing. Like, are you answering for a long run growth rate, or are you answering for a short run growth rate? Long run growth rate in this simple model depends on the population growth only, but the short run growth rate depends on n, delta, savings rate, production function, and the per capita capital stock of that particular period. That is exactly represented by this equation. Equation number 7 or equation number 8. And this is the graphical representation of that. You see the growth rate they have given this. They're actually showing it by arrow. For any particular capital stock, the difference between SFK over K and N plus delta, this part, is representing small k dot over small k, or the rate of growth of the per capita capital stock. And if so, we see that when you compare poor country and rich country, the rate of growth of poor country in the short run has to be higher than the rate of growth of the rich country in the short run. And as a result, if you compare growth rate of any poor country and rich country, India is a higher growth rate than USA, because India is a poor country than USA. Is per capita marginal productivity of its per capita capital stock is higher. So K India is less than K of USA. The capital stock of India is lower than the capital stock of USA, let's say. Then if India and USA has the same production function, then the marginal productivity of capital of India is higher than the marginal productivity of capital of US, because you have a diminishing marginal productivity. And as a result, capital is more productive in India than in USA, and hence the difference in the growth rate. Poor country is growing at a higher rate compared to the rich country. So in normal situation, India was growing something around 6% after 1990, but the rate of growth of USA was something around 2%. And this is the explanation of that. Any question? Any clarification? Any question? Sarthak Brijwasi?
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Yes, sir. All of
The difference between N plus delta line and SFK over K line, the difference is basically representing K dot over K. It is clear to you, Sarthak?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. So this is another way of, so if you want to analyze the short run growth rate graphically, so write down the production function accordingly, the fundamental equation accordingly, and take the second way of analyzing it graphically. And the first way that we have done in the last class graphically, it analyzes output, per capita capital stock, per capita consumption, like that. But that particular figure won't give you the how to analyze the growth rate. Okay, very good, no problem. Fine. Another interesting thing that you can analyze from here is this. Two economy over here. A poor economy with a savings rate S1 and the rich economy with a savings rate S2. Obviously, the economy that has a higher savings rate, it has a higher per capita capital stock. So the second economy, which is the rich economy in our case, he has a higher per capita capital stock in the long run than the rich economy. So the poor economy's per capita capital stock in the long run is K1 star. Rich economy's per capita capital stock in the long run is K2 star. As a result, from the production function, the long run output of the rich economy is higher than the long run output of the poor economy. Is clear. But another thing is very clear from here. Even the steady state of these two economies are different. If the steady state of the two economies are different, then that particular prediction that the poor country is growing at a higher rate than the rich country in the short run does not apply. Is it clear from this figure? So that particular prediction that the poor country should grow at a higher rate than the rich country, it has a particular assumption that both the countries has identical steady state. You see over here, they assume that the poor country and the rich country, they have an identical steady state, which is denoted by the capital stock K star. As a result, we get the poor country is growing at a higher rate compared to rich country. But in this figure, that does not apply. Suppose I have two country, country one is poor, country two is rich. The steady state capital stock of country two is K2 star. Steady state capital stock of country one is K1 star. In this case, graphically it is completely clear that even for a particular capital stock, so you take a capital stock, let's say between K1 star and K2 star. Okay, suppose this is the initial capital stock for both poor country and rich country. If you see, for any capital stock between K1 star and K2 star, the rate of growth of the poor country is negative, but the rate of growth of the rich country is positive. Take any capital stock between K1 star and K2 star. And then for that particular capital stock, check the difference between N plus delta and S1 Fk over K and N plus delta S2 Fk over K. You see, for any capital stock between this, the rate of growth of the poor country is negative than the rate of growth of the rich country. So that means the poor country is actually growing at a lower rate compared to the rich country. That is basically the thing. And this is exactly why people started analyzing this when Solow model predicted, okay, fine, the poor country is growing at a higher rate compared to rich country. People tried to check it with the data. So what they have seen, what they have done is this. Barrow and Salai-Martin 2004, they have analyzed the annual growth rate of 114 countries across the world from 1960 to 2000. It's about these 40 years. What they have plotted over here, log of per capita output in 1960. That means initial output level of 1960 of different countries are plotted in the horizontal axis, and growth rate of per capita GDP from 1960 to 2000, that's 40 years, they have calculated in the vertical axis. So if that prediction of the Solow model holds, that the poor economy is growing at a higher rate than the rich economy, the scatter plot and the trend line should have been negatively sloped line. That means a poor country which has a lower per capita GDP in 1960, they should grow at a higher rate compared to a rich country who has a higher log per capita GDP in 1960. So the trend line would have been completely opposite had the prediction of the Solow model holds, or this particular figure holds, which says the poor economy is growing at a higher rate compared to the rich economy in the short run. But we are not getting it. What we are getting, that the rate of growth of a rich economy is higher than the rate of growth of a poor economy. So the trend line is positively sloped. Had the prediction of the Solow model been satisfied, that the trend line should have been a negatively sloped line. Now people started asking the question that what is happening? Why are we not getting that? Then what Barrow and Salai Martin did, they have taken some similar OECD countries, or you can say the some similar developed countries from 1960 to 2000. And same thing they have plotted over here. Log of per capita GDP in 1960 of those countries over here, and growth rate of those countries in 40 years, average growth rate. And now you are getting a negatively sloped line. Now you are getting, the poor countries among the rich countries. The poorest country among the rich country, the growth rate of that poorest country is highest. Is it clear? Sachi? Is the argument clear?
Sir, I got confused a little.
Where did you got confused?
So first we had where all the countries had the same steady state, and
Same
then
steady state, this over here.
Yes, sir. This
That is the poor it basically predicts the rate of growth of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the rich country in the short run. Is it clear?
Yes, sir. This was completely
Now,
clear.
this is exactly what people try to test with the data. So they have taken what they have calculated, the average per capita growth rate of GDP for 40 years for 114 countries. And they have plotted it in the vertical axis. And in the horizontal axis, they have plotted what is the value of log per capita GDP in 1960 of that particular country. Okay?
Yes, sir.
So tell me, if the prediction of the Solow model that the poor country should grow at a higher rate than the rich country, then what should be the trend line? Positively sloped or negatively sloped? What should have been the trend line? Poor country means initial GDP in 1960 is lower. Rich country means initial GDP in 1960 is higher.
Yes, sir.
If this is the representation of the rich country and poor country, then if I do this scatter plot and the prediction of the Solow model is satisfied, then what would have been the trend line? A negatively sloped line or a positively sloped line?
Sir, it should have been negatively sloped.
Are you sure? Okay, suppose a poor country, let's say India, whose
Yes,
initial log per capita GDP, that means log per capita GDP in 1960 of India, let's say 6. And the growth rate of India, let's say 0.06. Fine.
yes,
So take
sir.
a particular point over here, 6, 0.06.
Yes,
Now
sir.
suppose USA is a rich country whose log per capita GDP in 1960 is 9.
Yes, sir.
Then if the prediction of the Solow model holds, what should have been the growth rate of USA? Is it higher than 0.06 or lower than 0.06?
Lower than 0.06.
So for India, a particular point will be the coordinate of the point will be 6 and 0.06, and for USA it will be 9, and let's say it could be, let's say 0.02 possible.
Yes, sir.
Okay, then if you draw a trend line between those 2 points, is it a negatively sloped line or a positively sloped line?
Negatively sloped, sir.
So when the prediction of the Solow model holds, if the prediction of the Solow model holds, the trend line that Barrow and Salai Martin is getting, which is positive over here, that clearly shows that it is not satisfying the prediction of the Solow model. That means the rate of growth of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the rich country. So
Yes.
what Solow model is predicting and what we are getting from the data, they are completely different.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
This is exactly what this particular slide is explaining. That is, this one, this particular figure, which is predicting in using the Solow model, this is predicting that the rate of growth of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the rich country in the short run, not getting satisfied over here. Even if you go to the long run, what we have seen over here, even in the long run, the Solow model predicting the same thing. If you can remember, higher population growth rate means lower long run level of per capita capital stock. That means lower long run level of per capita output. So that means poor countries associated with higher population growth rate. But this particular equation says the rate of growth of the poor country is higher compared to the rate of growth of the rich country, because the population growth determines the long run rate of growth. So had it been a long run or short run, Solow model always predicting that the poor country should grow at a higher rate than the rich country. Irrespective of you are analyzing short run or long run, Solow model is always predicting that the rate of growth of the poor country should have been higher than the rate of growth of the rich country. But when we have tried to examine this prediction of the Solow model with the data, that is Barrow and Salai-Martin 2004, not matching at all. Had it been satisfied the prediction of the Solow model, the trend line would have been a negatively sloped line, but we are getting a positively sloped line. So this particular figure says higher growth rate of the rich country than the poor country, which is completely opposite of the prediction of the Solow model. Is it clear, Sachi?
Yes, sir.
This is the problem. Rohit Anand? Rohit
Yes,
Anand,
sir. Yes, sir.
is this problem clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so one problem of this simple model, it cannot represent growth rate in the long run of any per capita variable. The per capita output in the long run, the rate of growth of the per capita output in the long run in this simple model is 0, which is not matching in with the data. And also this particular prediction of the Solow model. So irrespective of whether I'm analyzing short run or long run growth, the poor country should grow at a higher rate compared to rich country. That is also not getting satisfied over here. Then people started thinking that what is happening? What they have done is this. Barrow, Salai-Martin, same paper, the same graph they have plotted for 18 rich countries, developed countries, OECD countries, developed countries, Portugal, Ireland, Spain, USA, UK, Luxembourg, Germany, Great Britain, Australia, same graph. Now see, you have a negatively sloped line. So poorest country among these developed countries, poorest country is this Portugal in over here. And this growth rate is basically around 0.040. The richest country among these developed countries, Sweden, whose log per capita GDP in 1960 is 9.6, whether the same for the Portugal was something like between 8 and 8.4. But the rate of growth of Sweden is 0.015, which is lower than Portugal. And we have a clearly negatively sloped trend line. This particular figure is with the prediction of the Solow model. So if we analyze only these 18 developed countries, the prediction of the Solow model clearly holds. The poorest country among these 18 developed countries, the growth rate of that particular country is highest, and which is Portugal or Ireland, you can say, something over here. There's some here and there outlier, 2 only. So we can actually ignore them. But otherwise, it's a completely negatively sloped trend line. I think the same figure, I'll come to that also. So this particular figure is with the prediction of the Solow model. Smaller number of countries, but similar countries. Similar in the sense they're all developed countries. All the countries in the world, almost, poor country, rich country, developed country, non-developed countries together. If we plot the same figure, the prediction of the Solow model is not getting satisfied. But if you take similar countries, let's say developed, similar countries, Solow model is getting satisfied. So this is what Barrow and Szalay-Martin realize, that if you analyze similar countries separately, the prediction of the Solow model is getting satisfied. Poor countries' growth rate is higher than the growth rate of rich countries. But if you take all the countries together, no, not getting satisfied. Technical term they are using, if you take homogeneous countries, the prediction of the Solow model is getting satisfied. If you take non-homogeneous set of countries, the prediction of the Solow model is not getting satisfied. This is from for 40 years only. The next figure is basically from 500 BC. It's basically from 1870 per capita. And what they have taken is over here, 1870 to 2008, more number of years. So similar countries, again, developed countries, OECD developed countries. Okay. You see over here, clearly negatively trend. So 1870, in the year 1870, Japan was the poorest country and whose growth rate is highest. I'm measuring growth rate in the y-axis. So poorest country in 1870 was Japan, whose growth rate was highest. And the richest country is something like Great Britain. Whose growth rate is basically almost lowest. So among the homogeneous set of countries, that is the developed countries. So this figure, same. Developed countries, homogeneous set of countries, similar countries. Poor country among these countries are basically growing at a higher rate than the richest of this country. This is for 40 years period. This particular figure for 40 years period. This figure for more period. I'm getting the same thing. So it basically reconfirms that the prediction of the Solow model, that the rate of growth of the poor country, both in the long run and short run, is higher than the rate of growth of rich countries, is only satisfied if we analyze homogeneous set of countries. Clear? Faisal, it is clear?
Sir, I have a question.
Bolo, bolo.
So you took the homogeneous set only the richest countries. Is it the same case if you take the poorest countries, the poorest ones?
Homogeneous set of poor countries, yeah.
Okay.
It will be the same. It will be the same. But I have a question to you. One second. Okay, you tell me the question, then I'll tell the question. कौन बोल रहा था, पूछ रहा था, sir? Priyangsha, बोलो. Over here, yes. In empirical analysis, yes. That is countries with income level above a particular level. But a question related to that.
Sir, I have a doubt.
Bolo.
Sir, if the poor countries It is for poor countries it is valid, and for the rich countries it is also valid for the developed. Sorry.
For
So sir, why
homogeneous, no, it is
they
for
are not
homogeneous
homogeneous?
set of
Yeah.
countries. It is valid,
So sir, if we take their union, then it should also be valid.
but it is not getting valid. So if you take the union, this is the figure, not getting satisfied. But if you take only similar countries, homogeneous set of countries, it is getting satisfied. This is exactly what data says. But the Solo says, but from the Solo's model, at least from this particular figure, it says that poor country is growing at a higher rate compared to the rich countries. But when you take all the countries together of the world, it's not getting satisfied. But when you take countries separately, homogeneous groups, is getting satisfied. And that's the question. Is Solo wrong, or we are interpreting Solo wrongly? This is exactly people started asking question after this Barrow Salai Marty 2004 paper, that whether the prediction of the Solo model is wrong, or we are actually predicting something wrong from the Solo model, which Solo didn't want to say, but we are actually saying it. But it's not matching with the data. If Solo says that always the poor country is going to grow at a higher rate compared to rich countries, at least this figure says that, okay, poor country, this particular figure, if you concentrate, the simple prediction is rate of growth of the poor country is higher than the rate of growth of the rich country. But if you see over here, not matching, but take homogeneous set of countries, it's matching. More number of years, homogeneous set of countries is matching. That means something, the prediction of our in the Solo model, either that is wrong, we are predicting something wrong from that particular figure, or the Solo model is completely worthless. This is the two outcome that can be drawn from here. And this is exactly what we'll analyze. Okay. So this is basically we have till now. So first of all, the simple model. Bolo.
Sir, we are that homogeneous group of countries. So, sir, it's like we are taking only those countries which match our purpose. Like we are deliberately choosing those countries.
Okay, if we are deliberately
different...
choosing those countries that matches our purpose, that means you are saying the Solo model is completely worthless. People say that, as I said, this is basically the two outcome. Either the Solo model is completely worthless, or the prediction that we are making from the Solo model, that is wrong. That is not that simple. We are oversimplifying Solo model. These are the two outcome can happen. Either Solo model is completely worthless. That is what you said, that you are saying the Solo model is completely worthless. The other part is basically we are predicting something wrong, or we are oversimplifying Solo model. Maybe the Solo is not predicting that. And this is exactly where our next part of the lecture lies. So till we are identified two problems. First of all, the simple model with only population growth rate, it says that per capita level output growth at the long run is 0. But our Kaldor fact says that there is a per capita growth rate in the long run, and it does not fall. It's continuously growing, which is not matching with the data. And the second part, the data shows that if you take all the countries together, the prediction of the Solo model that we are making, that the poor country is growing at a higher rate compared to the rich countries, that is also not getting satisfied. Still, two problems. Now the question is, can Solo model really handle these two problems, or it is not? Is it worthless, or we are oversimplifying Solo model? This is where we stand till now. One question I will ask to everybody, and then I will end this lecture. When we are analyzing empirically, let's say we are taking homogeneous countries, how suppose I have a threshold level of income, I am taking countries, I'm analyzing countries above the threshold, some threshold level of income separately, and we are analyzing the poor countries separately. This is maybe I'm saying this is homogeneous and non-homogeneous. Income level is basically the criteria. Rich country, I'm taking rich country over here. If you say, okay, fine, I'm in this figure, I'm taking all the countries together. Over here, I'm taking the countries, let's say, whose log per capita GDP in 1960 is above or at least as large as 8.0. So 8.0 is my threshold income. This particular figure analyzing countries whose log per capita GDP in 1960 above 8.0. So this is how I am determining homogeneity empirically, the income level, whether it is higher than a particular threshold or lower than a particular threshold. Now, if I really want to check, if I want to really impose this homogeneity thing in the Solow model, how do I do that? What particular thing will separate countries in the Solow model?
Countries with the same savings rate, with the same S.
Bolo, 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 bolo. Isse bolo.
Countries
bolo.
with the same S
Whether the
savings rate.
steady state are same or steady states are different.
Yes, sir.
This is exactly what we will do over here. As I say, it's an oversimplification, and we will see this figure is oversimplification. This figure is basically only meant for the homogeneous set of countries who has identical steady state. But if we plot similar figure with non-homogeneous set of countries, we will see from graphically that we cannot make that prediction that the poorest country is growing at the highest rate. This figure, we will see it is only for the homogeneous set of countries who has identical steady state. If so, poorest country has a highest growth rate. But we will see that we will draw identical figure for two group of countries. They're non-homogeneous. And we will see that this prediction even graphically won't hold. So that's basically the next part of our lecture, which we will do tomorrow. Okay. Any further question?
So the graph that was there for the non-homogeneous countries, which had to. So are we going to discuss it again tomorrow?
Why?
Sir, I had a little
You had?
confusion.
What confusion do you have?
Sir, in
It clearly
that
shows the poorest country, which is Portugal, among
no,
this
no,
set
sir,
of
not
countries.
this graph, not this one.
Then
The
this one?
yes, sir, this one. Yes,
This is we're going to discuss, obviously.
okay.
At least these two figures are clear to everybody, I think. This empirical figure that when I'm analyzing only each countries for the year 1960 to 2000 or for 1870 to 2008, the prediction of the Solow model holds. The poorest country is growing at a highest rate. I think that part is clear. Now we actually going to discuss using Solow model that whether it is really matching with the data or not. Okay, as I said, what we will see is basically the homogeneity in the Solow model is basically steady state. A group of country in the Solow model, we will consider them homogeneous if they have identical steady state. So that means I'm going to impose that particular part. The two group of countries we're going to analyze who has two different steady state. And we're going to check that, okay, is it giving the same prediction that the poorest country has the highest growth rate? Getting my point? Okay. Anything else? Inaki Kaur, I'm asking you again.
Yes, sir.
Is this discussion clear to you? You made yourself muted. You muted yourself. Inaki Kaur.
I'll actually have to, I think, study it myself because I'm not very clear.
Why I am asking you repeatedly, because I'm a bit wondered that when I've given you that first problem today with the solo model steady, calculate the steady state value of per capita capital stock, you didn't do it. So that is basically my point of concern, whether you are understanding it or not. Anyway, you study, I do not know, but Vedika Gupta.
Hello.
Vedika, is it fine? Is this discussions fine? You are
Yes.
following it?
Yeah.
Fine. No problem. Okay, if there is no further question today, then I'm going to end the class today over here. And we will meet again tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Happy Janmashtami.
Happy Janmashtami. Yeah, same to everybody.